Aikuchia, Asimnis Jelicha, Haichquagonzana Tejala Kungan Tanath, Sawilak E, Tapathaxa, Thanisne, Chisaleas and Lukungan Ea Housit, Thana Main La Frank Sam, Thana Tain, Helena Sam, Thana Nanana, Amy, Danica Thomas, and Thana Enos Ora. Helix and Quintanayatha, Iquanis Quananga Hela. Good morning, everybody. I just introduced myself as Sawilak and Tapathaxa, and those names come from Songhees and Ahousit. We often talk about how it's very important for us to acknowledge who we are and tie ourselves to the community, but also to the land. And I was talking about, like, in worldwide, there's like 7 degrees of separation, but I think in the Indigenous community is 0.5 because we always know somebody who knows somebody. And my late dad is Frank Sam, my mom is Helena, and my children are Amy, Danica, Thomas, and my granddaughter is Aura. It's really good to see everybody here this morning, and I would like to welcome you to the Lekwungen territory, and translated, that is the place to smoke herring. And I was driving in this morning thinking of 2 key names, well, actually 3. So the first one is Kosapsum, which is one of the territory names of the Lekwungen people, and then the 2 building student residence names, so Chukneen and Snaka. And I would really like to acknowledge University of Victoria for breathing life back into those names. I think it's really important to acknowledge the territory that way. I would also like to acknowledge Dr. Skip, who normally does this work, so I'm feeling very intimidated because I know that he loves doing this welcome every year, so I'll send his regrets on his behalf. So again, thank you for allowing me to open your work up in a good way. Haichka.
Thank you so much, Diane.
My name's Connor. I'm on the men's rowing team, and I'm in my 4th year studying political science and economics.
I'm Soleil. I'm a 3rd year with the women's rugby team, and I'm taking Indigenous Studies.
And I'm Diego. I'm on the men's basketball team, and I'm a 4th year in health and recreation.
It's an honor to be here today, to mark the start of what will hopefully be another 16 years of the Vikes Championship Breakfasts. This is the largest Vikes fundraiser for student athletic scholarships, and as a senior athlete, I look around the room and I see so many familiar faces. Faces that have been in this gym year after year supporting this event. Thank you all for being here again today, and of course, thank you to all of those who are attending virtually or who donated and were unable to be here today.
Of course, today's event would not be possible without the support of our event sponsors. This year's sponsors are Team Sales Vancouver Island, Minute Maid, University of Victoria, and Rogers Sports Media. Thank you all for your generous support for this breakfast and the future of our Vikes students, athletes, and program.
As always, we have a number of dignitaries we'd like to introduce. Please hold your applause until the end and welcome from the University of Victoria Senior Executive, Dr. Kevin Hall, President and Vice Chancellor, Acting Senior Director of Wellness, Recreation and Athletics, Nicole Gringo, Dr. Elizabeth Croft, President and Academic Provost, Ms. Christy Simpson, Vice President of Finance and Operations, Mr. Chris Horbaczewski, President of External Relations, Dr. Lisa Kalinchuk, Vice President in Research and Innovation, and a number of our faculty deans and other University of Victoria representatives and supporters.
As well as Murray Farmer, former Chancellor of University of Victoria, and Linda Petch, who is a longtime supporter of UVic and the spouse of our former President, Howard Petch, who sadly passed in 2018. We would also like to recognize former Director of Athletics and Recreation, Clint Hampton, who is one of the reasons we're all here today in 2008. Clint launched the Vikes Championship Breakfast, and since its inception, the event has generated just under $8 million.
So a big welcome to everyone, and thank you for joining us today.
We've all been fortunate enough to travel across the country and beyond our borders doing what we love. Your support helps us to focus on the training that takes us to these places. I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to play professionally over in Vancouver in the summer and gain some great experience playing at the next level because of your support here. We are eternally grateful for our long days of travel, especially when we wait in Vancouver for a connecting flight, and to finally get back to this place we call home, in our incredibly supportive community.
We've also been able to prioritize our academics and high-performance athletics. Receiving athletic awards has allowed all three of us to compete at the international and professional levels in our respective sports. Alleviating some of the pressure of working through the summer opens up opportunities to go above and beyond in sport. Your generous support allows us to chase these athletic aspirations without the layer of financial stress that can make these steps to the next level so much more difficult.
These are just some of the ways your contributions over the past 15 years have allowed Vikes student athletes to thrive academically and athletically. This past summer, the men's and women's rugby team had almost 30 current and former Vikes represent Canada from the U18 to senior levels. Diego was able to play pro over the summer, and Connor is headed to the Pan Am Games to represent Canada later this month in the men's pair. Recently, 3 Vikes women's rowing alumni helped Canada qualify for the Paris Olympics, and finally, Vikes alumna Jacqueline Sawicki was part of the Philippines' first ever win in the FIFA Women's World Cup. You have all made pursuing our dreams possible.
We would now like to take a moment to pass the mic along to UVic's President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kevin Hall, to provide greetings on behalf of the university.
Well, good morning, everybody, and big warm welcome from UVic, and thanks to the students. You're doing a great job. You guys look a little nervous, but you're doing pretty well. I'd like to thank Diane Sam for the welcome to Territory. Diane's left, but Diane did a fantastic job, and I too would like to acknowledge and respect the Lekwungen peoples on whose homelands this university sits, and to pay my respects to elders past and present. And so first off, I'd like to say what a fantastic year the Vikes are off to already. I don't know if you've all had a chance to go out to the many, many games that have been on campus, but they've been absolutely fantastic, right from the start at Thunderfest to every weekend where we seem to be doing really, really well. So congratulations to the athletes that are on the teams this year. This event's been the largest fundraiser we've had for the Vikes in the history, and as the MCs mentioned, it's raised a significant amount of money over the past 15 years, and this money is fantastic because it goes directly to supporting student scholarships. And student scholarships are just really a really important way of getting through life as a youngster. About 100 years ago when I was at university, having scholarships was really incredibly important because practicing for athletics takes away so much of your time. That it's hard to go out and work, it's hard to do your studies, and given that we're in Victoria these days with just crazy rent prices and food prices, and it's fantastic that we're able to support our athletes. The sports programs here at UVic allow us to test ourselves, all of us, whether we're a student, a faculty, or a staff, to get involved. But this support allows us to compete also at the highest levels, and you'll hear more about that from our keynote speaker, Adam Donaldson, a UVic alumni. As I wrap up, I just wanted to really, again, thank you all on campus, to the athletes, to the coaches, the trainers, the managers, and all the other members of our campus that support our athletes. You're a really critical portion of the students' athlete success. And a special word of thanks to all the families and friends of the athletes that are here today as well, because you're actually a really important part of their success as well. Big thank you to all of our donors, which makes the sports program possible at the university. And so on behalf of the university and someone who's had a lifelong affliction to sports, in fact so lifelong that I don't walk right anymore, but that's all right, that's another story. And I would say don't ever have a surgeon that graduated from the University of Calgary, because they don't take geometry, and sometimes surgery doesn't go as well as it could. But on behalf of the university anyway, go out there and have an active lifestyle. Live the life like these students are living. Always thrive to learn and always thrive to do better, and make sure you keep active. So thanks everybody, and I hope this is a really fantastic event for all of you. And let's welcome the proper people back up here now. So thank you.
Bring it home. Cheers. Thanks. Thanks, Dr. Hall. So without further delay, we'd like to introduce our keynote speaker this morning, Adam Donaldson. Adam is a Victoria local. He went to Claremont Secondary before coming to UVic, where he was the captain of the Vikes men's rowing team for 3 seasons. In 2018, he was awarded the prestigious Chancellor Award, which is given by the Department for Leadership and Vision. Adam racked up plenty of accolades on the water during his 5 seasons rowing for the Vikes. He was a 4-time Canadian University Rowing Championship gold medalist. He also led the men's 8 to 3 Brown Cup titles. Finally, Adam was part of a historic victory at the Canadian Henley Regatta, where UVic became the first Canadian crew to win gold in the senior men's 8 in over 10 years. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Adam Donaldson.
Thank you for that very kind introduction. I can't tell you how happy I am to be here today and what a privilege it truly is. I'm so proud to be from the University of Victoria and Vikes Athletics, and I was such a beneficiary of your support during my time here. In fact, I will always be a beneficiary of your support because going to UVic changed who I am and where I am today. And if I could leave you with 4 points from this morning, it would be these. First, that the opportunity to row at the University of Victoria meant a great deal to me. Second, that we as a program worked incredibly hard to get the team to where it is today. Third, that in doing so, it changed our lives. And finally, that only happened because of people who support Vikes Athletics. In her championship breakfast speech a few years ago, I think Debbie Yaboa put it best when she said, "People don't understand the generosity of their gifts to the Vikes and the impact that they have." And for that reason, I'm incredibly excited to share my story and tell you about the impact that you had on it. The opportunity to share my story is also a particular honor because it represents the broader story of my family's time with the Vikes. My mom and my uncle rowed at UVic before me, and my brother joined me in my final years. And from an early age, I can remember my mom showing my brother and I this big blue book that my grandma and my grandpa had put together of my mom's rowing career at UVic. And in it were these medals, photos, newspaper clippings, and even my mom's lucky racing bracelet. It was all from a previous dynasty of UVic men's and women's rowing teams who were so dominant that crews like the famed University of Washington Huskies would refuse to race UVic out of protest, thinking that they were a fully funded national team in disguise. And so from an early age, rowing at UVic to me meant competing at a level that was so unbelievable that crews refused to accept that all of this talent could come from just one school. My story at UVic, however, began much differently. My arrival to UVic was anything but spectacular. In fact, on my very first day of university classes, I went to all my Monday classes on a Tuesday. My first weeks were especially tough. Somehow, within 3 weeks, I was 4 weeks behind on my readings. I was misunderstanding assignments that everyone else just seemed to understand, and I was getting so many parking tickets. My transition to the rowing team was also difficult. We had just lost our head coach to the national team, and the search for a new coach was weighing on the program. We had come off a disappointing year at national championships, and many people in the team struggled to see how they fit into the future of the program. But things started to slowly turn around, and I wouldn't be here today if they hadn't. That spring, we hired a new coach, Albert Van Scotthorst, who instilled in us the value of hard work from day one. He started by implementing these grueling, long workouts, 3 times 30 minutes on the rowing machine, as hard as you can go. And these workouts pushed us to our breaking point, but they also taught us that our breaking point was much further than we had expected. And that first summer, we truly defined the notion of hard work and how far we could push ourselves. And to harness that hard work that we were doing, Albert also taught us how to be high-performing individuals, not just athletes. He would teach us techniques like distraction control, the idea that when you arrive on the venue, you are there to do one thing and one thing only, to perform. It was almost like you were putting on these sunglasses that blocked out everything that could distract you from focusing completely on your goal. He also shifted our attention to focus on the process and not the outcome of competition. So instead of thinking about whether you're going to win or lose the race, focus your attention on how you can make the race as good as possible. In other words, focus on the things you can control and the results will follow. And in that first summer, we went to Royal Canadian Henley, a prestigious North American regatta in Ontario, and we won the men's 8. It was the first time a Canadian crew had done so in 15 years. Months later, we would go on to win the national championship on our home course. And by my 4th year, we were creating something really special. We swept all 3 of the big races that year, and we secured an invite to the San Diego Crew Classic. And as we lined up at the starting line against the best, Stanford, Cal, and Yale, I couldn't help but look across and reflect on just how far we had come in a few short years, all through hard work and execution. To our surprise, days after the race, a collegiate poll had ranked us as a top 20 crew in North America, and in that moment, it felt like there were no limits to the things that we could accomplish. And it also felt like our hard work had pushed the program into a new age of rowing at UVic and across Canadian University rowing. To me, this was the first of many important lessons that I learned at UVic. The idea that if you're willing to work hard and be part of a team, anything is possible here. As I reached my 3rd and 4th years, I found myself stepping into a leadership role on the team. And serendipitously, by that time, I was receiving enough support through athletic scholarships to convince my parents that I could resign from my job at Canadian Tire and take on leadership duties with the team. And this was such a pivotal moment for me. I can't stress the impact that this had because I would not be here today if I didn't have the support to make this leap. I would not have had the ability to step away from a paying job during the school year and focus on the things that didn't pay my tuition. That investment has paid off tremendously. And I know for so many others on the team and throughout the Vikes, scholarships and financial support is the only way that student athletes can be student athletes. For that, we have all the people to thank in this room and online for making that happen. Because stepping into a leadership position on the team forced me to learn a brand new set of skills. In fact, in my very first captain's meeting, I showed up having done no preparation, just ready to chat with Albert and the other captains about what they wanted. Needless to say, that was the last time that ever happened. But beyond that, I learned so much in this role. I learned how to develop a vision for the team. I learned how to formulate my own opinion and how to defend it in a meeting or in front of the team, especially when it was unpopular. I learned how to speak confidently in public and on a moment's notice, and I learned how to advocate on behalf of my teammates. These things did not come easy. Developing these skills was challenging, and I did not always get it right, but I learned them in a safe environment, and I did so among supportive friends. And most importantly, I was having fun while I was facing these challenges. And for that reason, I would be remiss if I didn't mention just how enjoyable it was to work with people on the team. People like Mark, who made showing up to practice every day enjoyable. Like Patrick, who could perform at the highest level, but always with a smile on his face. Brandon, who could motivate you in a way you didn't think possible. Or even my brother, Isaac, who would always do his best to try and humble me. There are so many other teammates I can't even begin to name who transformed the grind of being a student athlete into one of the most rewarding journeys. And if there's one subtle lesson in this story that shouldn't be overlooked, it's this. Find something you enjoy doing with people you enjoy doing it with. When it was time to retire as a student athlete, UVic had prepared me for the real world. As I started as a policy analyst with BC Corrections, I remember preparing for a meeting, sending out the agenda in advance, presenting and defending my project findings, and fielding questions, all things that by now were second nature. And after that meeting, my manager had approached me and asked where I learned to do that. And I replied, I actually learned that in rowing. The skills I developed in rowing continue to serve me long after I left the sport. As I was wrapping up my degree, I was working one-on-one with a philosophy professor, Dr. Audrey Yap. I had just presented a paper on correctional policies when she said, I would love the opportunity to teach in a correctional center. To which I replied, we could probably make that happen. And I can say with certainty that without rowing, I would not have had the confidence to go out on a limb and pitch such a bold idea to my superiors with Dr. Yap. Rowing taught me how to find my voice, and within the month, we were teaching philosophy courses at the Wilkinson Road Jail. The course now allows UVic students to take philosophy classes within correctional centers. It was an incredibly meaningful project, and it would not have been possible without the skills that I learned as a student athlete, the audacity of this university to push the boundaries of traditional learning, and most importantly, the tireless work of Dr. Yap. The skills I learned as a student athlete also gave me the confidence to succeed at law school. When I arrived at law school, a notoriously competitive academic environment, I remember thinking, all I have to do is be a student, not a student athlete. And if I can make it through 5 years at UVic as a student athlete, I know that I can do this. I don't even have to wake up at 5 a.m. Soon enough, I realized the same skills I developed as a student athlete would serve me well in my new profession. I knew how to work hard. I knew how to manage my time. And in the profession of law, I knew how to advocate on behalf of others and communicate effectively. So when I went into my first mock trial, I presented my argument and fielded questions from the judges, and I remember thinking, that was nothing compared to having to defend my arguments in front of Albert or in front of the team. Perhaps most importantly, however, was the confidence I had to execute a high-level performance. And so last summer, when I walked into a gymnasium in New York, in front of thousands of nervous students to sit down for the New York State bar exam, I knew what I had to do. I practiced my distraction control. I focused on my process and not the outcome, and I thought, there's no way this can be worse than 3 times 30 minutes on the rowing machine. I mean it when I say that I would not be here today without the things I learned at UVic. And I know that my story is just one of many student athletes who have left UVic the better for it. Part of what it means to be a Vike is to have a tremendous community of support. The community here allowed me to follow my family's footsteps, and beyond that, it allowed me to convince my parents that my time was better spent diving into a leadership position on the team that didn't come with a paycheck, but instead taught me skills that would serve me for life. And it is this investment by everyone here today that makes that happen. Your investment allows student athletes to sacrifice short-term obligations to harness the long-term benefits of being a student athlete. And like Debbie Yeboah said, it was not until I left the program that I understood the power of your investment and the impact that it has had. So thank you for allowing me to chase my dreams and my goals, both within sport and beyond. And thank you for continuing to allow student athletes to focus on being student athletes, because you will change their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam, for your inspiring words. We're excited to see what the future holds for you. So, I was at the breakfast last year, and I got to watch and listen as people stood up and pledged their support to us, the student athletes. I listened as person after person stood up and pledged their support to make generous donations to Vikes Athletics. This live auction was contagious, and we ended up raising an additional $22,000 for Varsity Athletics on the day of the breakfast. Yeah. So we were hoping to provide the same space this year for those who feel moved to do so, to stand up and pledge any additional donations, and maybe we can even surpass the total from last year. So these donations can be to a specific varsity team or to all sports. So already my fellow MCs, Soleil and Diego, have microphones and are on either side of the gymnasium. And if any brave supporters out there this morning who are interested in donating, please stand up and flag them down now. Oh, we've got one. Awesome. Here, we'll get you a mic. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Karen Batchelor. I just wanted to say that Jim Dunstan, our Associate Vice President of Student Affairs, could not be here today, but he wanted to pledge a $1,000 donation to men's rowing and thank Adam for his keynote speech.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much to Jim. We really appreciate that. Obviously, yeah, there's no pressure here to donate, but your donations do directly support student athletic scholarships. Yeah, is there anyone else who'd be interested in making a donation today? Don't all do it at once. Oh, awesome.
Chris Watson, Best Western plus Carlton Plaza. We'll do $500 for men's basketball.
Awesome, thank you so much. Oh, there's more, awesome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Ferketic. I'm the pharmacist at UVic Campus Pharmacy, and I'm representing the Heart Pharmacy Group, and we're proud to donate $500 to UVic Athletics.
Awesome. That's incredible. Thank you so much. That's $2,000 we've raised just in the last minute and a half. So this has been incredible. If you're not comfortable standing up on the spot right now, you can also there's a table if you turn around back there. We've got some lovely student volunteers who would be happy to take your donations at any point throughout the morning. Oh, we've got a hand back there. I don't know what table number that is. Thanks, Soleil. Table 30.
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
My name's Tish Hill. I'm a former JV rower with UVic from the 80s, a crunchy rower from the day, and our table would like to pledge $1,500 towards women's rugby.
Thank you so much, Tish. That's awesome. I think that's, we've got another hand back at the table there. Table 34.
I just wanted to make you walk all the way back over here. Thanks to the peer pressure, everyone. Mike Riley, also rower back in the 80s, and I'll do $100 to men's rowing and $100 to women's rowing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's excellent. Great to see some alumni from the rowing program coming out to the breakfast. Oh, we've got another hand here in the front. Thanks, Diego.
Hi there. My name's Sar Adams. I'm a former men's golf alumni from the early 2000s, and I'll pledge $500 to the women's golf program and $500 to the men's.
Awesome. This is incredible. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much. Oh, we've got another hand. Awesome. Table 4.
Hi, my name is Murray. My wife and I have been so impressed by Vikes Athletics, and I think the main gist of that always came when we went to the academic meetings when the Vikes academics were recognized. Vikes promotes so much, as our speaker has told us, in personal advancement. And so I'd like to offer $5,000 towards Vikes Athletics.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Murray. Wow. We've got another hand here at table 15. This is incredible. Thank you all so much. I'm so blown away.
I'm Pat O'Neill, and the only time I ran fast was when the police were chasing me. But I do have 2 grandkids here. Tion McLeish, who's on the cross-country track team, and Brianne McLeish, who plays for the Vikes soccer. So I'm going to have to split my donation, $250 to the girls soccer team and $250 to the track and cross country. Thank you.
Thank you again so much.
Once again, I actually just received a text message from a donor. His name is John Neville. He is a rower from the 60s. He would like to donate $2,500 to men's rowing and $2,500 to women's rowing.
Thank you so much, John. I'm sure people are watching virtually, and thank you so much for your donation, John. We really appreciate it. Oh, wow.
Hi, I'm Colin Brisson from the 80s and 90s basketball program. $1,000 to the men's basketball program.
Thank you, Colin. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. That was incredible. Thank you all for your support. Let's get one more round of applause for everyone who donated just now. I'm amazed every year at the generosity from the donors in this room and who donated and were unable to be here today. So on behalf of all of the student athletes, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, as it's because of donors like you that our athletes and our programs are excelling. So thank you again. So we now ask that you turn your attention to the big screen for a quick thank you from fellow students.
I'm just running a couple laps and wanted to thank our Vikes Championship Breakfast donors for keeping us running.
Thank you! We appreciate all your support. Thank you!
Thank y'all for allowing us to compete. Thank you!
On behalf of Vikes Women's Rowing, we'd like to say thank you for your generous donations and support. Thank you!
From Vikes Men's Rugby.
Thank you for your support! Thank you for your continued support! Thank you!
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for your support!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for your support!
Thank you for your support!
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you!
To wrap things up, we would like to call on Dr. Nick Clarke, Director of Varsity Performance Sport, to bring the closing remarks.
Thanks, everybody. Wow, unbelievable. So I've noticed a trend the last 3 years since I've been in this position. One, the amount of time I'm allowed to talk has gone down. So I promised Moreno last year that we would get you out on time, and that's going to happen. So I've just got a few things to say. The second trend I've noticed is the generosity of the people in our community. It's absolutely unbelievable, and I'm blown away by the generosity in this room, but the generosity of people online. And I'm here to say thank you. We can't say it enough. We can't say, words are, again, there's no words to thank you for the support you do. I want to thank Adam again. What a phenomenal speech and what a phenomenal person he is. One thing, yes. One thing he mentioned there was the understanding of your impact, and that a lot of people don't understand their impact. And that's what we're here to tell you today. Your impact is unbelievable. You might not know it now, but you will know it when you meet people like Isaac, or when you're in a position like I am, and I have the privilege to work with these young leaders, young adults, and see them compete and be phenomenal at everything they try and do. So the impact that you have is so, so great. So thank you again. Another thing that Adam said and took away, I did have a speech, by the way, and I've gone completely off track because of what Adam said. He said that you want to do things that you enjoy with people you enjoy doing it with. And that's what I do. So I want to thank a few people. This event, everybody at the back there, all the staff, all the student athletes that are here that have put this on. What a phenomenal job. Thank you very much. Big round of applause. I know as soon as I start thanking people, I run the risk of missing people out. So again, I just want to thank everyone here, all our dignitaries, all our friends. I see some friends over there on table 7. I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. So thank you so much again. And the people we really want to thank today, and I would argue is probably one of the best examples of a student athlete and these young leaders, are our 3 MCs. They have done a phenomenal job. If you've noticed over the last few years, we've handed the mic over to our student athletes for this reason. So I want to give these guys a big round of applause for stepping up and doing this. What a great job. So thank you all again. We really appreciate you doing it. Have a great day, and we'll see you here next year. Okay? Take care.